Hey everybody, welcome to today's Lunch Lesson Live. Today we are talking about fear and limiting beliefs. So I know all of us, right, as human beings, we struggle with a little bit of fear, a little bit of doubt creeping in. And as women, I think this happens a lot more than probably a lot of us care to admit, or certainly than a lot of us talk about, especially as women business owners, right? I feel like we have a lot of things stacked against us, and fear definitely creeps in because it is a little bit of stepping outside the norm, right? It is a little bit going against the grain of what kind of society tells us we should do or shouldn't do or whatever. So let's talk about it. So today we're going to be talking about fear and limiting beliefs. So if you're here, give me a quick little thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you're watching on the live or if you're watching on the replay. I'd love to know who comes in here Wednesdays at 12 or Eastern time, or who's coming in afterwards, kind of watching it later. That would be great. So tell me live or replay in the comments. Thanks so much for being here. So today I just want to take a quick shout out to everyone who voted. Every Tuesday you get a chance to vote on our topic. I would love to discuss things that are helpful to you and your business. So let me know if you have a topic, a future topic in mind. You can either say it in the comments below, or you can wait for Tuesday's poll, and you can always let me know some ideas for things that are kind of coming up for you in your business, whether it's different fear or limiting beliefs, or even just social media topics, right? Whatever's kind of something that you want to talk about, I would love to hear it. So feel free to suggest that in the poll on Tuesdays, or you can vote on whichever topic that I'm kind of putting in the poll. You can vote on that each week. So that's on Tuesdays. Definitely let me know. But reach out to me anytime if you have questions. I'd love to discuss with you whatever's kind of holding you back in your business. That's really the goal. Okay, so today's lunch lesson is for mompreneurs, coaches, really anyone who has a business. I think women in business, like I said, I think we have a lot of things stacked against us, right? We're kind of going against the grain of society, trying to build our own business. So definitely fear creeps in a lot, and I think in a lot of different ways. So today I'm going to talk about kind of the three main fears that I have seen in my life, obviously, that I still, right? I feel like it's not something you just kind of get over once. It's like it always kind of creeps up in different ways. So it's always something I think you're always going to have to kind of battle and figure out how to squash those beliefs, or how to rise above, right, those limiting beliefs in order to move forward. That's really the goal, right? We want to get your business moving forward and get ourselves over that hump of recognizing when we start feeling those fear and doubt and thoughts that are coming in that are holding us back. So that's really the goal. So I'm going to talk about kind of the three main beliefs that I see popping up a lot for me and my clients, as well as kind of three ways to kind of get yourself over those limiting beliefs. So it might be a little bit personal today, right? So hopefully you guys are ready. But definitely, I think whenever we start to watch these videos, right, I say on all of the videos that we really want to get into our abundant mindset, right? That's really hard, I think, to stay. It's great for us all to be like, oh yeah, I have an abundant mindset, right? I say that all the time, but I'm like, gosh, do I really, like, what does that really mean for me specifically? So let's think about abundant mindset and what that really means. I really think it means thinking that everything is possible. And if you can get into that vibrational state of, okay, all things are possible, and I'm going to take in this information and really just let it sit inside of me and figure out how I can apply this to my own life, right? All things are possible. There's so much room in the market. There's so much room in the universe for everyone. So really keep that abundant mindset hat on and be willing to grow. That's really the point, right? Is to know that everything is possible and know that you're capable of growing. So take in new information, and that's really how we all learn, right? We all kind of learn from each other, and if we're willing to grow, we can take in that information bit by bit and move ourselves forward and our business forward. So that's really the goal, right? Okay, so if you're new here, right, my name is Kristina. I have been in business. I've had a business of different forms or another for the last 10 years. And with that, you know, in this modern day and age, we're all trying to be seen online and get noticed, right? So over the last decade, I've really been figuring out what is the best way, easiest, what fits in my schedule, what works for my clients, what are the best ways to be seen. So that's really my goal. And so my husband and I, in 2014, we started a little bike shop, coffee shop. So I love talking about the bike shop, right? It was such a fun little venture for us. It was, so bittersweet. It was like our dream business. And then we learned so much, right? I say that's really where I got my marketing degree, right? Because we had to learn by fire. Like I needed people coming in that door, right? It was really physically apparent when you have a brick and mortar store, right? You see that people are coming in or not coming in. So we really had to learn quickly, right? Different marketing skills and strategies. So that's really where I learned the bulk of a lot of my knowledge, and then have applied it to different businesses and different clients really since then. So we had to close our doors in 2016, and man, what a trial and tribulation, right? If any of you have ever closed a business, it is such a challenge, and such a heartbreak, and such a just really something that you have to work through, right? And I would say I'm still probably working through, my husband and I both, like it's hard for us to look at bikes or, judge coffee shops without, or go into coffee shops without judging. It's always a challenge, right? Because it's such a personal feeling when you have created something from nothing and then had to close it, right? And that was really where I turned my passion into helping other businesses, because I didn't want to see another small business have to close their doors. I feel like there's so much knowledge out there that we can all share and support each other, and that's really my goal, is to rise everyone up so that no one else has to close their doors, because it was such a heartbreak for us. But I am so thankful that it happened, and I am so thankful for where we are now, right? There were so many great things about the bike shop and a lot of not so great things about the bike shop coffee shop. So it was, again, such a learning curve, but I am so thankful for where I am now, and what lessons that heartbreak really taught me. So with that, right, is really where a lot of my limiting beliefs, whenever I think about the bike shop, that's really where a lot of the fear and doubt kind of come up for me, obviously, because I try not to see it as a failure, but really it was something that didn't work out. So whether we call it a failure or not, a lot of years I did call it a failure, right? And that was really hard for me. So I think that is one of the, definitely, so that'll be the first kind of belief that we talk about, is that fear of it not working out, right? So once we close the bike shop, now forever, I'm in a fearful state of, oh my God, it's gonna happen again, right? So if any of you have ever had some type of failure, right? It could be small, it could be big. It could be you tried a strategy and it didn't work out. Maybe you had a launch and nobody showed up. Maybe you worked really hard on a post or a website or a freebie or something, and you were like, oh my God, this is gonna be great. And then either nobody showed up, maybe you had a webinar, nobody came, all of those things. You could really see those as failures. And that is really where fear jumps in and says, hey, this didn't work out. You can't do this. And it makes us kind of go into those thoughts, and we repeat them to ourselves. Okay, you can't do this. It's going to happen again. All of those things. So definitely doubt. And I think doubt comes in a lot of different forms, right? We can call it doubt, fear of failure, fear of not being able to do it. And I would call this imposter syndrome, right? It's kind of a buzzword, I feel like lately. Imposter syndrome is really your fear that you're not good enough, right? Fear that you're not going to be able to do something. So whenever you feel those types of feelings kind of creeping up, if you can just recognize that as fear, and then really go inside yourself and sit with it for a minute. I don't think limiting beliefs are bad. I think they are there to teach us a message, and I don't think it is about ignoring them by any means, right? I think it is a message, it's a sign from the universe, whatever you believe, that it is something to be addressed inside of you, right? So definitely, I think one of the ways to kind of overcome doubt is to really think about, is this true? Is this something that I really believe in? Is this true? Can I really not do this? Or is it just my past kind of self or my ego saying, well, it didn't work before, it's not going to work again, But is that really true, right? Is it really true that I failed at the bike shop, I'm gonna fail at every other business? No, of course not, right? I tell myself that every day, like, no. The bike shop I don't see it as a failure, right? I see it as such a blessing because I learned so much. And had I not gone through that, I wouldn't be here now, right? I wouldn't be here talking to you. I wouldn't be here helping other businesses. I wouldn't be here having my own business and being able to work from home and, all of these blessings. So many great things came from that failure. So I really choose to believe those truths, right? I let the positive things be true. So I really think one of the best ways to kind of overcome limiting beliefs is to sit with it and then really tell yourself or ask yourself, is it true? Is that true that I'm not going to be able to do it, or that I'm going to fail, or is this really a failure? Is that true? So I really think those are the questions to kind of ask yourself, and then tell yourself what is true for you. What is true? What are you capable of? What is possible, right? I think those are the ways that you can kind of overcome that doubt. I think the first step is obviously recognizing, right? Being aware that you're feeling those feelings and recognizing it as doubt. So it comes in a lot of forms, right? If you're getting ready to try something and your ego kind of pops up, oh no, you can't do this, right? You can't handle it. This is change. This is new. Anytime things that you're trying something new, I think that's when fear kind of creeps up as doubt. And you really start second guessing yourself. I'm not good enough, right? I don't have the skills maybe, or, am I worthy of being this type of person that has those amazing things come to them, right? And then really think about, is that true? No, of course it's not true. There are so many possibilities in the world. There are, so many different ways, I think, of making money and making a successful business. And I think doubt can kind of creep up in comparison too. I think that's where imposter syndrome, I've noticed for me, when I start, especially social media, right, is such a bittersweet relationship with social media, but we see a lot of people that look successful, right? Whatever successful means to you. So I think doubt creeps in when we are comparing ourselves to others and being like, oh, well, she did it, I can never do that, right? Oh, they're having so much fun, I could never do that. Or, oh, I'm such a failure because I'm not doing it their way, or whatever, right? So really sit with yourself and recognize, okay, I'm comparing myself to the unknown, right? We don't know the full story of their lives, their relationships, their vacations, their whatever, right? We really have to sit with, is this true for me? No, I am capable, I am worthy, I am available, I'm ready for all these amazing things. And so by changing our thought pattern of instead of a comparison mode or I can't do it, it's recognizing that it's there, but then being able to change it into something else. So those are some things that I'll talk about, kind of the 3 ways to kind of get out of those limiting beliefs. But I think the first step is really just recognizing when it pops up. So that first one is really the doubt, imposter syndrome, comparison, whether you can do it, right? That's really the first limiting belief. And just sitting with, is it true for me? Is this really true? Because what if it's not, right? What if it's not true? And most likely it's not true. There's nothing of evidence to say that you're going to fail, right? Nobody has a crystal ball. So of course it's possible that you can succeed, right? You're not going to fail just because you failed before. Or is it even a failure if you learned, right? That's really the kicker, I think. Okay, so the second fear I think that I see a lot, and I know I have struggled with this myself, is fear of investing, fear of spending, fear of taking a leap of faith, right? So with our businesses, I definitely think this is part of our ego again, of fear of change, right? If you are at a place in your business where you feel kind of stuck and or maybe you're not sure of the next step, but you need something, right? You don't have what it is or whatever that is, whether it's a skill set or the strategy or whatever it is, you're in a place where you're stuck. You need a step forward. You need a structure. You need a strategy. You need a skill set. You need some knowledge to get you kind of over that hump. And I think it's always scary as a business owner to be like, okay, how do I get that gap filled, right? If there is often we say a bridge, right? From where you are to where you want to succeed. If there are gaps in your knowledge, in your skill set, how do you get those filled in order to get you over that bridge to where you want to be? And often, right, often we see, okay, there are people I can pay, whether that's a VA or a coach or a course I can take, or, you know, there's different ways to fill in those gaps and get you the skill set that you need to get you from where you are to where you need to be or where you want to be. And it's fear that creeps up, and often it's our ego that wants to keep us playing small. Right? I'm sure many of you have heard this, that whenever you are ready to, or think you're ready to take the next step, your ego will usually show up and be like, hang on, wait a second, can you do this? Wait a second, this is scary. Oh my gosh, this is change, right? This is something new. And I notice this a lot in my own life. Whenever I feel like I'm gonna change strategies or take a big leap of faith, definitely there's a lot of fear that creeps up and questions that, second guesses myself, right? And I really think it's that fear of investing in myself. Will it be worth it? Will I get to where I need to go? And the answer, right? Again, sitting with that question of, is this true? Am I not gonna make it? Or is it true that I'm not gonna succeed having invested this, right? Or that it's a bad investment, or that it's gonna be worth it. Is that even true? Or the alternative is you could succeed, right? What if you succeed? What if it's everything you need? What if it's exactly what you need to get you over that hump? Because the alternative is you're still stuck, right? So we often say, like, staying stuck is more expensive than investing, because what's the alternative? What else do you have? You already know you're stuck and you haven't been able to move forward. So one of the easiest ways is to invest in yourself, invest in your business, to really get you past that hurdle, get you over that hump, to start filling in the gaps of knowledge, of skill sets, of, you know, access or strategies to get you over that bridge to where you want to be. So I think that fear of investing, of whether it's going to be worth it, whether you're going to get a return on your investment, those types of things, fear of spending that money on your business, of whether it will be worth it. It's hard, right? And it's really hard to know, and everyone has to kind of make that decision for themselves. And I definitely say, again, sit with that, sit with those feelings, sit with those fears, and really ask yourself, is it true that it won't be, right? Is it true that I won't succeed? Is it true that I can't do it? Or is it true that it's something I can't afford? Is that really true? Because oftentimes, again, that's our fear just popping up, like what we've used to do, right? We're always used to not spending on ourselves, or we're used to staying stuck in our business. And that's really a hard place to be, because we don't have the answers, right? And so we kind of stay in our same old habits. Well, I'm going to keep doing, I'm going to keep trying it myself. I'm going to, you know, keep trying to learn from free content. I'm going to keep trying to grin and bear it, and eventually I'll get there. I was in that mode for many years, right? And what I hate is that I was scared. I was scared of investing, of taking that leap of faith, knowing that, you know, without knowing that it was going to work out. But every time I have invested in myself and invested in my business and taken a leap of faith, it has moved my business leaps and bounds forwards. It has always been beneficial, right? Whether you can say it's a return on the investment, you know, it's hard to say. I think eventually, yes, but it's always been a skill set that I didn't have, and it was worth knowing that new knowledge, or having access to that new strategy, or, right, it was always worth it. It was always moving forward. So, and it was always something that I didn't have. So that was always really helpful to me. So that's really the second one, is fear of investing and whether something will work for your business, right? Fear of investing in yourself, taking that leap of faith. And again, sitting with yourself and really asking, what if it, you know, instead of what if it doesn't work out, what if it does? What if it's exactly that you need, right? What if that is the key to moving your business and getting you unstuck? All right, so the third fear, I see this so much with women, right? And I know this is true for myself. I know it's true for a lot of the women in my family, a lot of my clients that I work with. The third one is really that we say, I am bad at sales. right? If you've ever said, I'm bad at sales, say sales below or bad at sales. I would love to hear from you, because I think it's true. I think we often tell ourselves, oh, I'm just bad at sales, right? I have this business, I'm great at making pretty pictures, or I have a great vision for my business, oh, but I'm bad at sales. And we let that kind of limit ourselves, right? Saying that you're bad at sales, I think is just, I really think it's society telling us that women are either, not as good at sales, or it's our own selves trying to say we don't want to be salesy, right? We don't want to be that sneaky, manipulative guy that is selling something that we don't need, right? We don't want to be salesy. But if you have a business, you absolutely need sales skills, right? Period. So if it's something that you feel creeping up, I definitely think it is time for women to really rise up and decide, I'm going to be salesy, but without being manipulative, right? I'm going to get sales skills. I'm going to learn how to close clients, and I'm going to learn some skills without being manipulative, right? And I really think that's okay. And there's a place for all of the different levels of how you can be salesy without being salesy, right? I don't know how to put that better, but right, you can certainly be salesy without being gross, manipulative, untrue, all of those things, right? I think you can be a genuine saleswoman and be successful in your business. I really do. I think every woman is capable of sales, and we all do it in different ways, right? There are different ways throughout your life where you have used not coercing, right? But you've used convincing skills to convince somebody of something, right? You have not necessarily argued, but you have definitely persuaded people for something. And that's absolutely what sales is. And, there's more in depth to it, and every niche is a little bit different, every industry, but I definitely think that is where a lot of my clients, where they have a major limiting belief, is they think they are not salesy. So they can get to a certain point, they can get the leads, they can get to gathering, making an email list, gathering leads, finding their right clients, but then taking that next step to becoming salesy or becoming a saleswoman, right? Becoming that wealthy woman who is able to sell her services. That's really, I think a challenge for a lot of us women. So I think the fear of or really saying that I'm bad at sales is really the fear of learning a new skill set and the fear of being too salesy, right? The fear of being untruthful or, not genuine. I think none of us feel great when we get like a spammy email or a spammy DM or, someone, we can just feel it when someone's trying to sell us something that we don't necessarily want. And I think we just need to rise above it, right? We need to figure out a way, and I think there is absolutely a way for every business to be successful and every woman to sell her services, right? Sell your products and services without being manipulative, with, using your genuine heart, using your soul and what feels good to you. There's a place for you to feel good about selling yourself and your services and your products without feeling gross, right? I think there's a place for everyone, for sure. So I think that is the way to kind of overcome. Again, I think that's fear creeping up when you say, oh, I'm just bad at sales. That is your fear that you don't know something, right? Your fear of not having a certain skill set. I really believe that. And again, that's probably your ego creeping up a little bit, saying, oh, this is too hard for you. Yet, like, oh, we've always done it this way. We've never been great at sales. We've never, had that skill set. So it's easy for me to just stand behind, oh, I'm bad at sales. You're not bad at sales. You just maybe don't have that skill set yet, but you absolutely can learn it, right? So there are 2 books that we've read. If any of you are in our book club, definitely say book club below. We just finished our 2nd book. But that brings to mind our first book called Mindset. And that was really the idea that, every skill you can learn. Every woman can be a saleswoman, right? You can just find your own path and figure out a way to make it feel good for you, right? Every woman is capable of sales. Everyone is capable of sales. And if you have a business, you quite honestly probably need some sales skills, right? And then the second book that we've been reading is called Rich as F, right? If anyone's reading that, it's one of my favorite books. I think it's totally life-changing. But it is really about that you are capable, and there is a place, what I love, she says, share from your heart and sell from your soul. There's really a way for you to find what feels good to you, and a way for you to sell your business to your clients in a way that feels good to you. So I really think that's the goal, is to really feel like you can be genuine and push your product, right? And push your services and be direct. And it's not your fault, right? It's not your fault that women think we're not good at sales, because we've kind of been told by society, hey, you shouldn't be a business owner, you should not be, salesy by any means, and you should not be direct. Right? Those are kind of all the things that I think society tells us as women that we're not good at. And forget it, we absolutely can be. We just maybe want to find it in our own way. We don't want to be the guys, right? We don't want to be the salesy car salesman kind of guy, right? We want to be our own, whatever version of that looks like. So those are really the three fears that I kind of wanted to discuss. Doubt or imposter syndrome, or I can't do it. Fear of investing or taking a leap of faith to get that next step in your business, or saying that you're bad at sales. I think those are the three main beliefs, limiting beliefs, that really hold a lot of business owners back, a lot of women back in their business. If you feel like one of these is one that, I would love to hear. If you want to say it below, you can, or you can private message me if you'd rather, but I would love to hear which of those limiting beliefs is maybe the most prevalent to you, which one you feel like is creeping up or holding you back. So you could say doubt, investing, or sales, any of those three. I think that would be, I would love to hear which one is more prevalent for you. And the three quick ways that I think you can overcome any limiting belief is really, I kind of touched on it already, but I really think meditating, right? And meditating is different for a lot of people, but I really think sitting with the question, sitting with the belief that you already have, and asking yourself if this is true, and then changing that thought pattern. If it's not true, and it most likely is not, right? Our limiting beliefs are not true. There's nothing absolutely saying what your fate is going to be. There's nothing saying this is who the person you are and you're stuck at this person forever. No, there's a possibility for everyone, and the possibility, the future is unknown, right? So there's absolutely the possibility that what if you are great at sales? What if you could have exactly what you want? What if you're not an imposter, right? What if you can invest and have it be effective for your business? All of those things are possible, right? So sitting with that, I would call it meditating, right? Inside, and asking yourself those questions. I think that's the first step to being aware of your limiting beliefs, and then being able to overcome it. And the next step then would be to use some type of affirmation, right? Whatever belief is true or you want to be true. You can tell yourself that affirmation over and over while you're sitting quietly with yourself, while you're in the shower, while you're falling asleep, while you're waking up, right? Any of those affirmations, stick it on your mirror, like, I am good at sales, right? I am okay to invest. I am not an imposter, right? And maybe, I think I've heard that too, that your brain doesn't hear the word not, right? So don't say I am not this, say I am a successful coach. I am a business owner. I am a direct saleswoman, right? All of those things would be great affirmations to change your thought patterns into instead of I can't do this, into I absolutely can and it's possible, or I am this already, right? So, and then the third thing is always books, right? I really think books give a really good perspective in a nice, concise way. Like, other people have put together some really great ideas in, some type of format for you to kind of overall in an outline and organized fashion, obviously, to be able to absorb different perspectives from people who have kind of worked through this and figured some sort of type of limiting belief out of this, right? So definitely whatever is speaking to you. If it is a sales book, I am always looking for sales books for women, because quite frankly, right, I'm a little bit over the bro era that we are in, and I do think that so many sales books don't feel genuine to me, right? They feel like in the bro verse, right? Like they're a lot of men, and I really want to find the genuine voice of women wanting to be sales women, right? I really think that is there's power in that for sure. So so that would be, right, if you have any books to suggest, I would love it. We are looking for our next book for March, so you can vote on the March book or say any suggestions below. I would love for it to be a salesy book, right? Salesy, something that would be helpful for all of us to kind of learn some sales skills, because I think so many of us need to learn that. So that's pretty much it for today. If you are feeling like you are ready to take that leap of faith, if you are feeling like you have gaps in your bridge and you need a skill set to fill in to get you over that hump for your business or to get you from A to Z, if you are feeling stuck and you need some direction to move your business forward, let's talk. I would love to talk with any of you. If you're looking for a strategy, just say strategy below, and I would love to talk with you more about how to move your business forward. If you feel like, I often feel like there are lots of my clients need sales skills. So if that is a piece that you are missing, I would love to help you out with that. I feel like there is a piece to gathering clients in a qualified way, right? Gathering clients in a non-salesy way, and then selling your services. That's really the next piece. So if you feel like those are some things that I could help you with, I would love to talk with you further. So just say strategy below, and we can hop on a call and quickly talk about your current strategy and maybe how I could help get you more clients and turn them into paying customers with those sales skills. So let's talk about that if you would want to. I would love to hear it. But anyway, feel free to comment below with any of your limiting beliefs or what resonated with you today from this video. I would love to hear what you thought, what beliefs you feel like are creeping up, and maybe some ways that you have found to kind of overcome those limiting beliefs. Or if you have some favorite affirmations, definitely feel free to share those below. I would love to hear. All right, thanks so much for watching.